blood and boobs. Bonus points for creepy creatures. Thank you for tuning in to our third episode of our 31 for 31, where we are watching 31 horror films directed by women for the month of October. This was a fun one. This is a creature feature from the 80s directed by Barbara Peters. Now, if you don't know anything about Barbara Peters was an exploitation director, meaning she directed a lot of X-rated films before she ventured over to this mainstream movie, Humanoids from the Deep. If you listen to my podcast, Directora, I talked about Stephanie Rothman and the exploitation space. Barbara Peters and Stephanie Rothman were major players in the exploitation arena. They were some of the only female directors working in the 70s. That number begins to increase, and I talk about that on the podcast too, as film stock becomes cheaper, more readily available. There are film programs that are started up throughout the country and scholarships for women and people of color that start up as well. So you start seeing more female directors in both mainstream Hollywood and indie world really increase in the very tail end of the 70s up through the 80s. That's where Barbara Peters came out of. She came out of this X-rated area where you can kind of tell any story as long as you put boobs in the picture. When she was directing Humanoids from the Deep, she was trying to make a creature feature. And producer Roger Corman felt that she did a really good job with the deaths of the men, but not so much with the deaths of the women. He demanded reshoots in which these creatures, the humanoids from the very deep, attacked women. Very, very violent and weird scenes. I mean, in one of the scenes, I wrote this down, a woman is taking off her clothes for a ventriloquist dummy, and then I wrote, what is this scene? I later found out after watching the movie that that's probably one of the scenes that Roger Corman himself directed. Peters was really, really offended by this, as were a lot of the women that worked in the film, because that wasn't the film they agreed to. She directed a lot of sex scenes. She directed a lot of sex and nudity in films, but she didn't direct attack scenes. That wasn't what she did. I'm not against sex and nudity in films. I think that there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, both of those things are very natural. In a lot of ways, it's weirder to avoid it. I'm looking at you, directors who put women in their bras in bed, like post-sex. No one's keeping their bra on. I digress. The attack scenes in this film could be cut, and it is still an effective horror movie, because this movie is very, very gory. I mean, in the first 10 minutes alone, I should have warned you all, I didn't know, there are a lot of dead dogs. Ultimately, kind of a fun, sleazy 80s movie. I hate the fact that I said sleazy because I know that's not what Barbara Peters wanted, but alas, that's the film that we have. Next, we're going to do a very interesting slow burn of a film that really took me by surprise. It's called Most Beautiful Island, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Also, if this video looks a little different, I've been playing around with lighting. It's my first time doing this. I'm in a closet.